I'll be exploring the characteristics of millennials and Generation Z. Millennials are individuals who reach adulthood right around the turn of the 21st century. They're also referred to as Generation Y. The first millennials were born right before the 1980s. Millennials grew up in a much different world than their parents, who were part of the baby boomer generation. A shift occurred as millennials grew, emphasizing great focus on electronics and social networking. Millennials were told to follow their dreams, therefore exhibit a high level of confidence. This confidence can be interpreted as narcissism and unrealistic. Once completing high school and possible further education, many millennials found themselves job hopping, unemployed, or in unrelated fields opposed to their previous generation. They're very concerned with workplace satisfaction. This may have influenced the parental trend of this generation, known as the helicopter parents. Millennials' views tend to be vastly different than baby boomers. While they have overall positive views, they're not shy about proclaiming their thoughts and views wherever they see fit. They're open about challenging religious and political institutions. They feel they're able to make a change. A large influence on the millennial generation is technology. This generation grew up with all the technical advantages that society has seen. Millennials have become dependent and accustomed to having access to technology anytime. They're comfortable with social media and public internet life. They live a life of choice overload. The average attention span of a millennial is 12 seconds. Generation Z is the newest generation and the one that we are educating today in schools. They were born between 1995 and 2015. They're currently between 4 and 24 years old. They're also known as the Snapchat generation, or millennials on steroids. Their technology and social media usage has skyrocketed compared to millennials. This generation actually experiences phone separation anxiety. The average Generation Z individual uses their phones on an average of 15 hours per day. Their television usage has decreased as social media has become more popular. They are digital natives. Generation Z is even more so open about religious, political, and overall views concerning society. They're even more accepting of different genders and are more diverse than ever. Generation Z is very independent. Their parents are more likely to give them plenty of space to find themselves. While they may be self-directed and confident, they are not equipped with boundaries or real-life knowledge. Compared to millennials, Generation Z's average attention span is only 8 seconds. For this field-based activity, I decided to ask my field educator 3 questions pertaining to his classroom setting.
I'm Joe. I'm a physical education and health teacher.
What characteristics of Generation Z do you find most evident in your health and gym classes today?
I generally find that the students have a very short attention span. They also have little background knowledge in how to play the games we do in gym or to play sports in general, because outside of school on their own, I don't think they play sports very much. They're consumed by playing video games. They have a hard time working together as a team because that comes from doing so by playing sports, and they evidently do not. There's also a very varied level of interest in doing physical activities, because many children seem to prefer being in front of a computer or an iPad playing a video game. A health physical education teacher.
What characteristics of Generation Z do you find most evident in your health and physical education classes?
A very important problem is that they have a very short attention span. They also have little knowledge of how to actually play games and sports because they don't actually do it on their own. Their time seems to be consumed with playing video games and things like that. They also find it difficult to work together as a team in that they don't play sports often on their own, and they're isolated playing things on computers or video screens. And in general, there's a great disparity in interest in doing physical activities because they generally don't when they're not forced to in gym class.
Which of these characteristics do you find most challenging to accommodate in class?
Of the things that I just mentioned, I think that the most difficult thing is that so many of the children don't do anything physical. They don't play sports on their own or belong to teams, that just to get them to engage in exercise or physical activity and play basketball or whatever sport we're going to play in gym is difficult, because they're not accustomed to doing physical things, and some have no interest in doing it. I think that's the most difficult thing to overcome.